Okay, now we are on to our topic of the thyroid. So welcome back. My name is Shannon Blas. I'm here with Dr. Megen McBride, who's a naturopathic physician, functional medicine doctor. She's amazing. She has done many of these videos now, just helping us kind of break down some things in our body that may be causing us to not feel so good. So we've talked a lot about hormones. We've talked about cortisol. We've talked about the adrenals, DHEA. And now let's talk thyroid. This is a big one because I think a lot of people have heard of your hyperthyroid or hypothyroid, but give us kind of the breakdown of how the thyroid functions in our body.
The thyroid is the kind of sets the metabolism of the body. It sets the tone. It's right here. It's this beautiful butterfly gland that is constantly getting information from the pituitary, whether or not it should make more or less. It's important to understand that if you're dealing with chronic fatigue, if you're dealing with weight loss or weight gain, if you're dealing with hair loss, fingernails chipping and not doing well, cold hands, cold feet, these are things that can really kind of point towards a thyroid imbalance. And yes, hyperthyroid is high thyroid function. Hypothyroid is low thyroid function. However, when someone's going into a chronic hypo or low thyroid state, it's not just a gentle lowering. What happens is that they'll spike like this as they go down. So depending on when the blood sample is taken, will depend on whether it looks high or looks low. So it takes time to kind of see what that thyroid is doing over time.
Okay. So is there something, is it like what causes your thyroid to be high or low? Is it lifestyle? Is it like what causes those changes?
So important. It's complicated, but what I would say, what I would say is that labs are very, very important, and um, comprehensive labs are very important because the thyroid, in order to protect the body, the thyroid makes primarily inactive thyroid hormone, a form of T4 hormone that's inactive in the body. And it does that for an important reason. You want that thyroid, every cell in the body benefits from thyroid hormone. So you want that thyroid hormone to be protected in an inactive form so it can circulate throughout every tissue of the body, throughout your big toe, throughout your hair, your scalp. And so sometimes what happens is that the gland is actually fine, and it's making T4 at a normal level, and blood work will show me that depending on what the pituitary is secreting and what the thyroid is making as far as T4 levels. But at the cellular level, there's a conversion that occurs from the inactive form to an active form of T3. And what happens is that if T4 is normal or even high sometimes and T3 is low, it's showing me that it's still a hypothyroid state. Because even though, and this is why some people will go to their primary care doctor and get just TSH and T4 and it's fine, and they're being told you're normal. And then you go away going, why am I so tired all the time? Why am I so fatigued? Why do I have cold hands, cold feet, cold nose, brain fog, all these things? And it's because that conversion's not happening. What I found, and what many integrative doctors have found, is that generally if there's a conversion issue, it's because of nutrient deficiencies.
Okay.
And in our previous video that we did on adrenals, if adrenals are struggling or imbalanced, it can often cause a thyroid also to be imbalanced. So meaning, even if the thyroid's working correctly, it's not converting. So you're not feeling the benefit of a well-working thyroid. And of course, there's autoimmunity that can be happening. The thyroid is one gland that is very closely associated with the gut. So if the gut is having permeability issues, if you're having gas, bloating, reflux, poor digestion, constipation, or diarrhea, those have an impact over the long term on thyroid function, because often that kind of imbalance in the body will cause nutrient deficiencies over time. So much to say about the thyroid, Shannon. I could just keep talking and talking and talking.
Yeah. But it's so interesting because it's like, I hope what you're hearing, and I know we've said this a lot in these videos, but functional medicine breaks down like getting our body to work properly. So how you brought up gut health, which we are going to do a video on that as well. But you guys, if you're not digesting your food properly, if you always, like you said, have those digestive issues, it's like that drain is clogging and now it's spilling over into the body. It's causing this domino effect in your body. So now the thyroid's being affected because your gut health isn't healthy. So hopefully you're kind of getting, the theme here that, like we've talked about, what we're eating and drinking is kind of setting the tone for how our body is going to feel. So, and again, sometimes there's different reasons why your thyroid is high or low, or some of your other labs. And so when you get a full panel done, then you can kind of look at it to see what is going on in your body in particular. So if I'm somebody, for example, if I have a high or low thyroid, is that something that you're able to like give me something to do right away? Or is it more you need to look at my bigger picture and figure out why is your thyroid high or low? Is it kind of more figuring out the mystery of it? Or is it something that you actually give some kind of a supplement or some kind of a remedy for?
The thyroid is very, it responds really, it responds. If I give you thyroid supplement or hormone, thyroid hormone, like levothyroxine or T3, T4, your body knows exactly what to do with that, and it will take the place of your own thyroid making those hormones. So your own thyroid sometimes can atrophy, get a little smaller. Sometimes it'll just kind of take a back seat to what you're taking orally, and then your tissues generally know right what to do with that hormone. But what I find is that the body is so smart. There's so much intuition in the body, meaning if you I say if your nutrients are low, right, and you see a mountain and you're like, I want to climb that mountain. Well, your thyroid is gonna reverse, it's gonna do things to make you feel fatigued, to where you're looking at that mountain, go, yeah, it's beautiful, but I'm not even gonna get started, because you don't want to break down halfway up a slope, right? You don't want to break down halfway into something. Whereas if your thyroid is on board and the nutrients are on board, then you're going to be in a place where you look at the mountain and you're taking the adrenals, right? And you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna jog 5 to 10 miles today and not have a problem. So it really is for the client. I can solve a thyroid symptom fairly easily,
Okay.
by supplementing nutrients, by supplementing thyroid, or by kind of calming the thyroid if it happens to be in a state of hyperthyroid.
Okay.
However, because it's my job to look at a person holistically, I really want to go beyond that, and I want to get down to the root cause, because it's actually much more common for the problem to not be the thyroid. It's much more common for the thyroid to be another endocrine system gland, or a nutrient deficiency like vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin A, selenium, zinc, iodine. So for me, for the client sitting in front of me with a thyroid problem, I can say, oh, let's take care of that symptom for you. But as a clinician, I think, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Is,
Yeah.
what's the
Getting
primary
down to the
problem?
nitty gritty of why that is happening in your body. Got it. Got
Exactly.
it. And so, and when you were talking, you said if you take your adrenals, then you won't get it, but you meant your thyroid medication, right? I just
Oh,
want to clarify that, because you were saying if you take the adrenals, then you'll be able to climb the mountain. But she was saying, like, if we're talking, because we've been doing some back-to-back videos, so that
that's
is
all.
thyroid, right? So like you can treat it but then after treating it, you're going to get to the root cause of it with the thyroid. Okay. All right.
That's
That
correct.
sounds good.
Yeah.
And I do know, like, you know, sometimes what I think is so interesting is when you do have your labs pulled and you are taking more of a functional medicine approach, what's interesting is labs that would show up as normal in a panel that maybe your Western medicine doctor does, they don't appear normal in a naturopath's eyes because they have a different lens. They're looking at it from a different perspective. So I do think if somebody has gotten like quite a few labs taken at their, you know, at their regular doctor's office, let's say that was covered by insurance, is that helpful for you if they bring those in and then maybe you could dig into those, and then there's probably going to be more they need to have taken. But is that something that you find helpful for them to bring in?
Always. I'm a lab junkie. Most integrative doctors are lab junkies. We like to see history. We like to see themes and you know, different patterns. So even if the labs are, I always love that the client, they'll be like, yeah, my doctor ran a really good panel, and then it'll be like 4 labs, and I'll be like, yes, they did. But the truth is that all information is good. You know, all information kind of is just another drop in the bucket to give us a cue, and that's really what we're looking for. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. So, you know, the theme here is just, if you're not feeling good, there's a reason. There's a
Yeah.
reason why you're really tired. There's a reason why things feel overwhelming. There's a reason why maybe you're not feeling great in the morning, or you're just waking up with some brain fog, or there's just feelings that you're just not yourself. There is a solution. So I just want you guys to know that. Is there anything you want to add about thyroid?
Just to repeat what you just said is that don't let your don't let your normal be anything less than an optimal quality beautiful life, because there's so much good research and good information now out there, especially for women, because I feel like our issues, because especially the endocrine system can get so complicated, that we kind of think it's a normal part of aging, like, oh, this is just a normal part of aging, and honestly and truthfully, it's not a normal part of aging.
Yeah.
So I think it's just getting out of what we consider, oh, this is just me, I'm forgetful, I'm just tired, you know, I get tired at 2 o'clock every day. You're like let's address these issues and really talk about them.
I love that. Such a good approach. Well, thank you so much, Dr. McBride. And again, we will put your contact information connected to this video. So thank you.
Thank you.